Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob. I'm named Caliban, and it's a Mamoru study jam?
Yeah, I'll say. And we're a couple of magical people ready to Moon Crisis make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 136, Mamoru o Mamore, Ninja Usagi no Yakimochi in Japanese. Protect Mamoru, Ninja Usagi's Jealousy, the English translation, and the English title, The Trouble with Love.
Wow, that robs a lot of the power of having the ninjas in there, huh?
Doesn't it?
Get that ninja in there. Kill some of these guys off.
I know, right?
Why are all these guys alive still?
I don't know.
I know there's only 3 of them. You think we would have got rid of one of these guys by now?
Which guys are you talking about?
The Amazon trio.
Oh, those guys.
Although it might be a situation.
Those folks.
Sometimes it's
maybe
just,
they're not necessarily guys.
And it's an and then there were none situation. And other times it's we're a family, and so you can't like kill people off, but maybe you'll like, turn them or knock them out or something like that. So we have yet to see what will happen. A lot of redemption's gonna have to happen to bring any one of these fools back. But come on, kill some of these guys off.
When is the killing gonna start?
I know.
That's what I want to know.
I want to know when the reprisals are gonna start.
What reprisals?
They were literally inside of Chibiusa's dream last week.
Yes.
And unless Gibble Gobble, I don't remember that.
Gibble Gobble?
I don't remember the lemur's name. Unless the lemur died before she could give any information. No, there's a huge horse in the sky. So they know this little girl, that's where Pegasus is.
I don't know if they're that smart.
They know it. They saw it. They were right there.
I have so much doubt.
So it's one thing to know that little pink demon has Pegasus inside. It's another thing to know where that little demon lives. That's why wear a mask, Chibiusa. All of you should have this. The hawk must go hooded. All of you should protect your identities.
Yeah,
you're so bad at it.
Go in disguise like a ninja. You know?
To the point where Pegasus is like, and I'm still confused because I thought that he just left her dream. But I guess he's accelerating. He's going to the next stage of their relationship where he gives her the green, whatever it's called. And so now they're communicating. But like, I thought like, I can't leave here anymore. But it turns out, no, he can because she really is the Kiswat Sadarak. She's like the most pure. It's okay to live there.
Yeah.
But the circus guys still know that.
No, they don't.
But they
don't.
They saw it though.
No, they didn't see that she was catatonic. They don't know.
So all they know is this horse showed up. Get inside the horse. Find the host.
That's
and then
what
I guess
don't.
They offed the snake lady before they could pull anything off.
Yeah, because she couldn't tell them it's this.
Well, then I would have mentioned that is a very Peter Parker moment.
Yes.
Although not Peter Parker so much as Superman, unless you're. Well, Pete Ross knew, right? He must have known. It depends on if you're going by the Superboy continuity or the regular Superman continuity, which is rebooted a bunch of times. But if somebody finds out that Clark Kent is Superman, tick-tock.
Yeah,
You're not making it to the end of this 22-page comic book.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly, and I forgot to say this last week, but that's exactly right. Like, even like before she becomes catatonic, right? When this lemur enters Pegasus, why doesn't the trio put 2 and 2 together and be like, this kid, whoever she is, always summons Pegasus.
Well, this is the first.
Maybe there's some connection.
This is the first group outside of Al-Anon that doesn't, well, I guess maybe the Death Busters, but they have no connection to the Sailor Scouts. Mm-hmm. They're not from the Silver Millennium Kingdom or from Earth or the war. They hate them in the future, and are trying to terminate this thing. That's true. They have no connection to them. So like, why do these like cheerleaders keep showing up and trying to beat us up?
Right. We're just after this winged horse. Come on.
Just let us kill this winged horse.
Yeah.
Come on, let's kill this horse.
Let's do it already.
That's what they want to do. But yeah, come on, wear a mask, Chibiusa.
I know. Protect your identity.
Figure this out already.
Well, they're like, they've gotten progressively worse. Like, they're like, let my mom go. It's like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Look, I love moms as much as everybody else, but yeah, that's a little strange. That is a little strange, but you know, maybe they just don't have, like you said, the forethought and the awareness. Because let's face it, these guys, they're not, you know.
No.
They're good looking.
They're very good looking.
They're talented performers.
Yes.
Not much else.
Right.
Like us.
Maybe,
Let's talk
maybe
about
sharp dressers. Okay, sorry.
Not like us.
I on that.
Let's talk about somebody who does like us. They really like us.
All right.
And that's our new Inner Senshi patron, Milk.
All right.
Milque has joined us on Patreon. Thanks for becoming an Inner Senshi.
Yes, thank you,
And
Milk.
hope you survived the experience. Hope you enjoy our extra content like other podcasts, our podcast Animedification, and our live action Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon podcast, Pretty Guardian Sailor Noobs.
Yes.
Hey, you don't come here for the titles. You come here for the content. And it's us talking about all of the live action episodes, which we're getting to the end of it, really. We're finishing up here. So if you want to hear us talk about the end, the pulse-pounding conclusion of live action Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, now's the time. Jump on our Patreon, patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
I'm sad and scared that it's going to be the end. I know it's
You're scared?
many times. Yes. Because, you know, I don't want it to end. You know, it's like a book that you're savoring. You're like, oh, I can't read too much today because then it's going to end. And
it won't be a horrible ending, though. I'm not scared because I know everything is going to work out. This show has gone to the depths of despair in a teenage girl's heart. But, you know, they always pull it out.
That's true.
So I'm not saying that I'm not like excited, but I think that it's going to work out.
I hope so. I just hope I'm not too emotional, I guess.
Well,
I can't make any
no
promises. Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if you're emotional about today's episode, but let's
you're gonna find out.
Get into it.
I guess we will. We got to. We open in this episode on a textbook. And I should note that this textbook gives a refutation of a long-standing saying. You ever hear the phrase, harder than Chinese algebra?
I feel like maybe I have.
It's predicated on the idea that, you know, algebra, it's already tough. And then you replace the letters with a bunch of squiggly figures. I mean, it's kind of a Western chauvinist idea since China had algebra way before Europe did.
Yeah.
But I didn't come up with it. Anyway, that question is answered because the problems in the book just use English characters for the variables.
Oh my gosh.
ABC.
Imagine that.
Easy as 1, 2, 3.
Oh my gosh.
Mamoru is explaining this math to Ami, and it's specifically the quadratic equation that he's explaining. Quick, what's the quadratic equation?
I have no idea.
X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Never used it once.
Okay.
You
you learned it?
You did not get out of high school math without learning that.
I don't remember it at all.
I've something that I like about you.
What?
I've heard about this. Is that you are literally because I know you got better grades than I did. I know that you knew this stuff at one point, and then all the time I hear people go, don't know much about history, don't know much biology. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Look, I rarely did the reading because I was reading something else.
Right.
But I remembered every single thing I ever read.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
But you have a mind like a sponge.
I don't know if I'm a invertebrate. I don't know if
remember everything.
Sponges don't have brains. I don't know if it's an eidetic memory, but I do remember a lot. Although I'll tell you, I never used it once. Not one time.
Yeah, but you had to learn it though.
If I was an architect, maybe I would use it.
Sure.
But they drill that into you, some of us, and never used it once.
In one ear, out the other.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But anyway, that's what it is. But since it's on me, I'm guessing she already knows the quadratic formula. And it's being applied in some advanced way. And that's what he's helping. He's probably helping her with the college math, right?
I guess.
It's weird to see her need help.
Yes. That was my thought too. I was really weirded out. Like, why is he helping Ami?
Is she smarter than he is? Let's look at the back of their Marvel trading cards.
Oh, I don't
higher
know.
intelligence?
Who has the higher stats?
Yeah.
Like, he's pretty smart too. Like,
he helped her on this one.
yeah.
Sometimes
right.
it's experience too. He says, "Good work, Ami-chan. You're very skilled at this." All the girls are at Mamoru's place. They're studying. And as Mamoru heaps praise on Ami, Usagi's not feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
We see her holding her pencil in a death grip, and it's a mechanical pencil, so she can't do the snap. But she does break the little lead, which means nothing. We all know that little lead breaks at the slightest provocation. And as the mutual Mamoru-Ami love fest continues, she gets up and throws herself between them, saying, "Don't be so close together." Everybody kind of rolls their eyes, and Minako says she's just here for tutoring. But Usagi, clinging to Mamoru, says, "I don't want him looking elsewhere." And Rei says, "You're such a child." And behind her, we see Chibiusa just nodding. Usagi says, "You're a meanie, Rei." Bleh, bleh, bleh.
Yeah, they're huge.
Makoto is a shame. Minako says, "There's no way we'd interrupt your hot little relationship now." It's like, what?
Oh, excuse me?
And Mako says, "It's a little more smoky than hot."
What?
That's what she said in my translation.
Okay. That's weird.
Which is ironic because most relationships in Japan, cold.
Yeah, I know.
Very cold.
Yeah.
Bob Floyd's like, "That's cold." Well, here's what they're talking about. They're doing puns. There's a literal smoke rising up
Yes.
in the apartment. Diana smells it and runs to the kitchen and yells, "Fire!" Well, she's good as a smoke detector, I guess. Everyone screams, "Fire, fire!" And they start running around the apartment. Rei grabs the fire extinguisher, quick thinking. Maybe she's accidentally set her manga on fire with her powers or something like that. That's my headcanon.
There you go.
But as she runs to put the fire out, she trips over a lamp and she face plants on the carpet and accidentally triggers the fire extinguisher, filling the room with clouds of fire retardant. Once it clears, everybody but Mamoru is tangled in a heap on the floor.
Because they were running all over.
These are superheroes.
I know.
This is as bad as that Avengers earthquake drill.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
they were all over the place. They didn't know what to do. This is funny because it wasn't a real fire.
Yes.
Otherwise, this would be the most whimsical death I've ever seen in a shoujo anime.
Oh no.
I don't have a great example, but I'm sure they're out there.
And the award for most whimsical death in the shoujo anime goes to.
Anybody ever do like an LA Law down the elevator shaft in a shoujo anime?
I don't think so.
They fire a voice actress and then suddenly like, oh, one less in the harem now.
Whoa.
Just, has some bad pocky. Bong straight to the graveyard.
Oh, that's horrible. If they ever fired a voice actress, what they would do is just hire another one and pretend like it didn't happen.
Just kill the character off.
Yeah, or that.
Non-speaking part.
Right.
Mamoru's not happy about this, of course. And a little later, the girls are all lined up and he's yelling at them, or as yelling as Mamoru gets. He says, "The smoke was from some fish being charbroiled in the kitchen." Okay.
Downstairs, the apartment downstairs.
Oh, somebody downstairs?
Yeah.
Right.
Are you still watching a different translation?
I am.
Me?
We'll talk about it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, anyway.
You need to get on the new translation,
Then
man.
I guess there was something burning in an apartment below them, which is also bad.
Yeah.
This seems like neglectful cooking.
Yes.
We've talked about the charcoal cooking in Japan. They love it.
Yes.
It's good. I understand why. I guess they do it at home sometimes.
You should do it outside, though,
Yeah.
I think. Like, we've talked about before, there's the little fish cooking things on top of underneath the grill.
Yeah.
Or the
That's what was happening.
burner?
Somebody left it on a little too long.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, Diana says, "Go, man," but I might actually be on Diana's side. This time. She was only being careful. Rei says, "It's not your fault. I fell to Usagi's level and panicked." And Usagi's like, "Hey!" But everybody shouts her down. Mamoru says, "Well, now that my laptop is a pile of dust, I'm behind on my report and I've got to finish it by tomorrow."
Mm-hmm.
And Rei says, "You can stay at my place." And Usagi's like, "No! Stay at my place!" And Chibi says, "Well, how will you explain that to Mama and Papa?" Or just Mama, I guess.
What? Oh no, Mr. Tsukino
Where's
is not
Papa?
present.
I don't see no Papa.
I know.
Honestly, Chibs, I think Ukoko's just happy Usagi's not doing drugs. I think sleepover dates would be fun.
Oh.
Diana springs forward and says, "Leave it to me. I will tag along and guard them and make sure that Sir Mamoru and Lady Ray don't make any mistakes." Okay, I hate Diana again. Jesus Christ, what is this?
I don't know.
Oh, wait. She's from the future. Does she know something that we don't? Does King Endymion have an affair with Ray? And she was like sent back in time like Kyle Reese to stop it from happening?
Oh my God!
Live with me if you want to come.
Anyway, this...
Oh.
I continue to protest the inclusion of this stuff, and I know it's not going to go away. It's not that I don't want my little girls to grow up. I mean, I guess I don't, but I pitched this before the 20-somethings Sailor Moon sequel, right? Mm-hmm. Where they're like, dating around, so things are happening, right? But not the Powerpuff Girls show that they were going to do. And they canceled.
No, not that.
But they've introduced it so weirdly. The girls have barely been sexual in any way.
Yes.
And now they're fighting the Cosby Trio every week. And there's all these plot lines that are like demonizing sexuality or going like, "Oh, be careful."
Yeah.
It's unhealthy, and I wonder what the audience thinks about it. Both the Japanese audience and, if they got through, the American audience.
I wonder as well. And I mean, I think for obviously like for little kids, I think it probably went right over their heads.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the, young preteen and teen kids watching it, like what were they thinking?
I mean,
and
we know that there's we've talked before about how obviously there's a different sort of value system, historically, but they're not getting it on a lot in Japan. We know that too.
Right.
And like, if we flipped the switch from shoujo to seinen, this would be a totally different situation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like in this, it's like, oh, they can't make any mistakes. What are you talking about?
Well, and I think we live, in the West, in the U.S., I should say, we live where our society is very puritanical, right? So I think for a lot of kids, I would put myself in that boat. Maybe you're like, yeah, don't make any mistakes.
I
know
guess.
What I mean?
And I'm not
I don't
advocating,
feel that way now.
Yeah, I'm not advocating for a Pretty Guardian Sailor orgy. But why bring it up at all,
Yes.
And I think that it is part of this sort of creeping connotes something bad. I'm just saying it's slow. Introduction of these more adult elements, which would then, consummate, wrong word.
Very wrong word.
They're in their 20s and they're out of college, you know, the 20-something, Pretty Guardian Sailor girls.
Yeah,
on
right.
HBO.
Yeah, right.
Right. Mina feels just like I do, and she blushes and says, "Mistakes?" All right, calm down. And Usagi just explodes into tears and says, "No!" We smash cut to the big top in the center of town where Master Zirconia is giving another bollocking to her troops. She says, "Our ambition of taking over the world depends on finding the Pegasus." I'm Pegasus. And Tiger says, "Master, I got a note. We already have powers that far surpass humans." And Fisheye says, "Even if we don't find him, taking over the world will be easy."
Why not simply vaporize them?
And Hawkeye hasn't been paying attention, I guess, because he says, if I could ask, what is Pegasus? Master Zirconia is here for recaps, but not that much recap. So she just hits her staff on the ground and says, "Just obey me and do as I say. Those are the same thing. You got time to lean, you got time to clean. Now get out there." And we cut to the Neon Bar where Fish is complaining that they're not just like low-ranking underlings. They're not jugglers here. They deserve more information.
Yeah, they're like the main attraction.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're headliners.
Yeah, right.
I guess all this time I thought they knew they were looking for Pegasus, but I guess they don't.
Yeah, it never was really clear, but I thought that they knew.
Maybe something will change when they learn more.
Maybe.
Hawk says, "It seems like Pegasus is more important to Zirconia than taking over the world."
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, is they
Oh no, I have a terrible theory.
Uh-oh, what?
Zirconia was once like Pegasus's friend or like a host, when she was a little girl. And now she wants revenge because he loved her and left her.
Whoa!
I don't know this lady. Tiger doesn't say anything because he's busy psychic fortune telling. He's got a bunch of pictures spread out on the table. And I guess I always assumed that he or some underling was out there like with a Nikon taking these pictures of these women.
Oh, I forgot to mention something from last week. Remember when like the teacher like posed in like a position on the bench and then it was like the same pose?
Somebody's in the bushes. They're just taking that picture, right?
Well, but I was like, is it like Zircon, the little eye, like the flaming eyeball with the wings? And if so, how does nobody notice a flaming eyeball with wings?
They have invisibility technology. There's an entire big top in the center of town. Nobody's said boo about it. Zircon is kind of like Nikon.
Okay.
A little bit.
It's yeah. Okay.
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, I could see that.
All this is just to say there's specifically one picture with a girl winking at the camera and sticking her ass out.
Are you serious?
Yes. She's going like,
Whoa.
Where did he take that one?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Oh, no. So she's doing like...
She's in a green mini and she's like booty tooching and going like,
No.
Yeah.
No.
She's duck facing.
That is not okay. Speaking about the sexuality piece from earlier.
So anyway.
Why is this in my kid's show?
She's like, please, kidnap me.
Oh, no.
It's like, I don't want to look in that mirror. Anyway, he holds his hand over the pics like a divining rod and he pulls one at random from the pile. And it's Ray in her Miko uniform. Mm-hmm. Everybody seems pretty excited about this prospect. And Tiger says, I'm going to switch gears. I feel like a little Japanese tonight.
Oh my God.
We cut to Okawa Shrine where Ray, Diana, and Mamoru are meeting with Gramps. Yay!
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
Does Gramps own a Nikon?
Don't.
Did he answer another classified ad about erotic photography?
No.
Need a person to take pictures of a lady in a park. Look
for
the girl in the green dress.
He would do that too. So
he says to Mamoru, I'm humbly sorry that Ray messed up your apartment. You can stay here for a year. No, 2. And Ray's like, okay, knock it off, Grandpa. But Gramps, he's feeling this. He's feeling a vibe here. Mm-hmm. This is a strapping young lad.
Yeah.
And he's always wanted to turn Ray's room into a photography studio.
No.
He says, psst, Ray, don't let him get away. And Ray's like, Grandpa says, Hikawa has traditionally been a righteous place, but I have no successor. I would counter that, yes, you do.
Yeah,
Her name is Ray.
She's right here.
Well, he's from an earlier time. He's set in his ways.
But okay, time out.
Women can be priests.
Yeah, and in the manga, she's set to inherit the shrine from her grandpa.
Oh,
and that's her
anime.
dream.
Oh, anime.
Yeah.
Grandpa says, I want Ray to find a good man to be my successor. And he's checking him out all over. He's looking at him from all angles and he's doing it so fast that there's like 2 of them at one point. It's like it's the Flash. Behind a stone lion, because of course they are, is the rest of the squad. And Usagi sees what's going on here. She says, that Grandpa. It's the new sitcom. That Grandpa. He runs a shrine, and he's got a daughter who's hot to trot. Literally. She shoots fire. That Grandpa. Thursdays at 8. She starts to just walk out. She's like, I'm going to take Mama back with me, but Mako pulls her right back. Behind them, Yuichiro picks up Mamoru's suitcase. And Yuichiro...
Yeah, I know.
Didn't he take the midnight train to Oita?
Yeah, he did leave,
He got beat up by a woman, almost run over by another train woman.
Yes.
He's back?
He apparently is back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all the hits are getting played this season.
Yeah. Oh, no, wait. He was going to leave, and then Ray...
I feel like it was indeterminate, though.
It was indeterminate, but she went and she was going to say goodbye, and they fought, and then they
all
walked
he knows
back
is
to
that
the shrine.
a train monster was going to kill him. He got knocked out.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I guess I'm not going anywhere.
I guess not. Yeah.
It's okay. They're playing all the hits. It's like I said. Anyway, he picks up Mamoru's suitcase and says, I've been here a long time, but no one's ever asked me to marry Ray. And Usagi's like, well, it's because you're you. So it's cold.
I
Bob
know.
Shivering. He says, that's a little rude. Just because Mamoru used to date Ray. Ooh. And Yuichiro's like, date? And he drops the suitcase on his foot. Oh! And everybody's like, And Chibi says, did they really date? And Usagi just has this look of death on her face.
Yeah.
And Ami says, it was a long time ago. She says she's looking for a boyfriend who's a great guy. First of all, I'm mad, but we'll talk about it. Yeah. And Yuichiro's like, looking for a boyfriend? Ah! And he staggers off into a tree. And the girls are like, not better. That night, Mamoru is typing away under Diana's watchful eye. She says, this quiet room will allow Sir Mamoru's studies to progress. And Mamoru says, can you stop calling me Sir Mamoru? And narrating everything I do. It was pretty uncomfortable when I went to the bathroom.
A cat who could talk would narrate that.
And would follow you to the bathroom.
Yes, exactly.
But Diana says, I cannot. You will be the king in the future world. And I only said I was surprised that you dressed left.
What?
Look it up. It's a safe Google. I will guard you so that no one may approach this room. And Mamoru's like, okay, well, I'm going to take a bath. You coming? It's weird.
It is weird.
It's weird this year.
It is.
And Diana's like, ooh, and blushes. It's weird.
It's really weird.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they're like aliens who have seen a Porky's movie, and so they understand the concept of sex, but they keep trying to put it in, and it's like, that doesn't go there. You don't have a daughter and a mother both fight for their husband/father's love. You don't have...
Well, that's kind of in the manga a little bit.
Well, all right. Well, okay. But you don't have a horse and a little girl fall in love. You don't have a guy proposition a cat.
No.
A baby cat, no less. What's going on?
I know.
Everyone has been smooth as a Ken doll for 3 seasons. I'm having trouble adjusting.
It's a big adjustment.
So is dressing left. Look it up. Do you hear that sound? It's the footsteps of Rei. And with her, the plodding tread of a time-worn anime trope.
Yeah.
Coming up in 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
Rei is carrying a towel and a tub of bath items and thinking to herself, come on, Gramps, what's this successor baloney? In erotic photography, who are you, Leonard Nimoy?
Go to hell.
She said, look it up, look it up.
Yep, I know that one.
She says, I'm a dream, little maiden. Which is a cute thing to say, but it's nonsense.
I don't
which is why we're hitting the translation rewind to see what the new Viz subtitles have to say in this scene. The Viz sub says, I'm still a young girl, full of dreams, you know? Which makes way more sense.
Way more sense.
You might have a point about me switching.
I think you should switch.
But without it, we wouldn't have a translation rewind.
That is true.
And we see some flashes of those dreams. She's a flight attendant. Okay, that's a little unambitious. No offense to flight attendants. She's a rock star. That's better. Mm-hmm. She's an important businesswoman. And she's a bride. Getting married to... Well, Japan will change the law someday.
Oh my gosh.
Deep in her reverie, she opens the door to the bathroom and sees Mamoru bare-ass naked.
I know.
He leaps into the tub and she runs out of the room, scandalized. Diana! You had one job! The whole job! Well, okay, you had 2 jobs! Make sure he studies and keep him from boinking Rei!
I know.
You were failing at your job! It is too late. I have seen everything. Yuichiro hears Rei's cry of surprise and comes running, but Rei knocks him down and says, why did you tell me the order of baths we're taking earlier? This is a Japanese thing. It's very complicated. But you should understand this.
Well, there is an order that you take baths.
Whoa, mini Kyokuro Miru.
Because, but it's like, I guess it's different within each family and people like decide or whatever. So I guess, I don't know if people know this or not. Obviously, when you take a bath in Japan, what usually happens is, you shower before you get in the tub. The tub is filled up with a lot of hot water. And then you soak in the tub, and then the next person comes in, and in order to save water, the same water in the bath is used for every person in the family that night. So the idea behind it is you wash all the dirt and everything, the sweat, whatever, off of you before you get in and soak.
So this is like a relaxation thing.
Yeah. And so this is what a lot of times, a lot of Japanese people will bathe in the night because of this. Sometimes people shower in the morning too, but
You know who else bathes in the night?
what?
Ninja.
Yes. But as a guest, when I was staying with host families, they let me bathe first.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they are acknowledging that being in somebody's effluvium is something
I don't know.
that you don't want.
I don't know. I'm not sure if that's what it is or what. But yeah, so
I got that right. Effluvium, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Rei runs off in anger and Yuichiro calls after her, but then he turns to Mamoru and says, "You seem pretty relaxed, Chiba." And Mamoru is just like, yeah, okay, whatever. I would ding the animators for not, because he doesn't have any lines, and so it's hard to understand his reaction to this.
Mamo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of po-faced.
Mm-hmm.
But I can also see him, as a literal college student, being over a lot of the things that these girls, it's kind of like why you don't date
Somebody
high
that
schooler,
much younger.
But
yeah.
I can him just be like, what? It's the public baths at the college and I do this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Rei runs to her room and she's like, "You're all idiots! Idiots!" And an unseen voice in her room says, "Who's an idiot?" And Rei's like, "Hello, what?" And out from under her table crawls Usagi in a ninja outfit.
I know.
It's Usagi Hood. The return of Usagi Hood. Rei's like, "What are you doing here so late? What are you doing under my table?"
I know.
But Usagi Hood says, "Time doesn't matter to a girl in love. Tell me where Mamo is and no one gets hurt." Rei says, "Yeah, whatever. He's in the bath." And Usagi looks at Rei and thinks, "A bath? Did you peek?" Rei turns beet red and Usagi says, "Oh my God, you peeked, you peeker!" Rei says, "I wasn't trying. I just saw his back." And Usagi says, "You saw his back!" Rei says, "It's his fault for showing it to me." That's not how that works.
No.
"You saw him. It was just a little." And she cuts her head off. She's a ninja. No, she doesn't do that. Elsewhere, Yuichiro is stoking the fire for the bath and thinking, Rei used to date him? No, I haven't trained enough. You keep telling yourself that, buddy. This is right outside of the bathroom window, and Mamoru opens it up and looks out and says, "Hey, thanks for keeping the bath warm." And Yuichiro says, "We're a traditional shrine with a retro feel," meaning he's heating up the bath right here. It's not electric. It's a wood fire. And Mamoru says, it's a little hot. And we see that sweat is running down his face. And Yuichiro's like, "You want it hotter? Okay." He throws a bunch more wood on the fire. And we hear a scream from Mamoru. Across town at the Tsukino household, Chibi is staring out of her loft window when her green Pegasus phone lights up with an image of Pegasus. And she says, "Pegasus, why do people get jealous when they fall in love? Usagi loves Mamoru, but she's ready to kill anybody who looks at him." And Pegasus says, "Whoa, Chibi, I must have rump dialed you. Sorry, what's up?" People in love can get possessive." And Chibi says, "I don't want that. It just isn't cool." And Pegasus says, "That works out great for me. If you're really in love with somebody, waiting for them is one shape that your love can take." Like waiting for them to turn 18? Christ, this show's just burying itself. Put the shovel down, show.
Oh my God.
Chibi blushes and says, "Really?" And falls off of her bed. It's too late to be cute, show. It's way too late in the day to be cute, show. The next day at Akawa, Mamoru is working on his report. It's not looking good. I guess he's doing this before class, I guess.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know how it's due.
Yeah.
Diana says, "There's still time. Ganbatte, Sir Mamoru."
Oh my God.
Elsewhere, Rei is getting the shrine ready for the day, and she's tired. And she yawns and stretches. She hears an unseen voice say, "You haven't trained enough, Rei." She looks around and then up into a tree and sees Usagi Hood.
I know.
Usagi says, "I went home last night. Quietly. I'm a ninja. But I will get Mamo-chan back today." And Rei says, "Fine, I don't want him." And Usagi says, "Are you making fun of Mamo-chan?" And Diana appears and says, "Both of you, shut up, please. Mama will fail his class. Jeez." She runs off. In the tree, Usagi's been holding a ninja pose this whole time, but her legs are starting to get weak, starting to shake. She says, I won't be separated from Mamo-chan. I'm going to eat breakfast and I'll come back. And she flips off the branch into the undergrowth. Ray says, Yuichiro, you've got ninjas again. Get the broom. Yuichiro? But Yuichiro isn't there. Mm-hmm. He's in the temple, meditating on his destiny. Mm-hmm. Gramps taps him on the shoulder, but he's too lost in contemplation. So Gramps yells, and Yuichiro flips over, and he's like, Master! Gramps says, You still alive, you little wimp? Yuichiro says, Yes, I'm a foolish wimp. I only have eyes for one lady. I think about her night and day. We see an image of Ray looking, honestly, sweeter than we've ever seen her. This is Yuichiro's mental image of Ray, I think. He says, My training is useless. And Gramps smiles and says, So, you've finally realized. To do away with those carnal desires is where the true training begins. Mommy, what do carnal desires mean?
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, this is the horniest season.
I know.
Also, are there any bad guys? What's up with them? Are they going to show up at all? Gramps says, Come with me, Yuichiro. This is tough training. Do you know anything about f-stops?
Yeah.
It's a photography thing.
Yes.
It's for it's called back from before.
Oh. Okay. All right, I got you.
We butt wipe to downtown Juban. Literally, a woman's butt does the wipe.
No, really?
It's a butt wipe.
I didn't notice that. Oh my god.
It's the horniest season where Gramps and Yuichiro are in their Sunday clothes. Out there's a world outside of Hikawa. This is the Nampa training.
I know.
Gramps calls out,
God.
Hey, lady, want some tea with me? Hey, Kanojo.
Yeah.
Hey, girlfriend. Yuichiro is scandalized, but Gramps says, Come on now, get in here. Act like a young man. Yuichiro looks around and, yeah, there's some fine ladies on this street. Mm-hmm. Two women walk past and they both say, Hey, Kanojo. The women scream and tear off down the street.
I can't blame them.
And then they just push up like Night at the Roxbury on two more girls. And who should walk by but Emperor Nampa himself, Tiger's Eye.
Yes.
And this is all pretty disgusting, but he's got a pretty good line. He sees these two ding-dongs trying to pull ladies on the street, and he's like, what is this world coming to?
I know! I absolutely love it.
At Hikawa, Ray is sweeping up, and Tiger arrives, and he's dressed in traditional kimono. Mm-hmm. And he sees Ray, and he thinks, I found her, a pure, beautiful girl with a beautiful dream. Watch it, dickhead, that's my Ray. He says, you'd be ashamed to just assault her.
Yeah, so don't.
You know what you're doing, Sho.
Yeah, I know.
He puts his traditional Japanese lampshade on, but it doesn't change anything. First, I'll charm her. Mm-hmm. And as he approaches, she whips around and spears her broom into the bushes, saying, Take that, Usagi! But it's not Usagi. It's a random, mundane cat that leaps out of the bushes. There are a lot of cats in this show. This is a regular cat.
I know.
Maybe he knows Rhett Butler.
Maybe.
Rhett Butler! And Ray says, oh, sorry, you okay? To Tiger's Eye, and Tiger's like, yeah, I mean, no. Someone so beautiful. I was enticed by your eyes, and my feet faltered. Ray's not even listening. She's just beating the bushes with her broom, looking for Usagi. Or not interested?
Possibly.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Tiger can't believe it. He cannot believe this girl is not immediately throwing herself at him. Mm-hmm. He says, such a wonderful... Me? He raises his whip, and he whips the broom out of Ray's hands. And a mustard rug unfurls and furls again, and he's in his circus togs. Now, Ray, transform, this is it!
I know.
Turn around! Swing the broom at him! But no, 1, 2, 3, and she's on the board, and her mirror is out. Tiger says, give me your dreams! And we cut away? Again, this is not when you cut away.
No.
But we do to Chibiusa walking up the stairs of Hikawa, as Ninja Usagi is trying and failing to climb the stone wall outside of the shrine. You need those little claws.
Yes.
Chibi's like, you got that? But Usagi says, I can't give up. I must rescue Mamo-chan from my nemesis Ray. And she goes, sa, 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 up the wall. That's her ninja sound. But Chibi is waiting at the top and says, you know, nobody likes annoying people. And she pulls a breathless Usagi up, and she sits on the edge of the wall. She says, I think waiting and believing in someone is a shape that love takes. Also, Western pleasure.
What?
Look it up.
God.
Usagi says, "Where'd you hear that?" And gets so close to ending this unhealthy relationship.
I know.
But nope, they hear Ray scream as Tiger looks in her mirror. The two of them transform as Tiger pulls his head out and says, "A beautiful dream. They can see the future. It would be a problem if Pegasus did hide here, so I'll be offing you." "Hold it right there," says a voice, and we see Sailor Moon and Sailor Chibi Moon. Chibi says, "Trying to find true love in the future, full of hope and dreams. You're a villain who wants to do horrible things to a pure maiden who dreams of the future." And Sailor Moon's like, "It's a little wordy. Chop that up next time." Anyway, "In the name of the moon, I'll punish you." Tiger says, "You again? Come, Lemur, water trick artist, Mitsugaiko." And out of his shadow comes an umbrella. And Moon and Chibi are like, "Wow, yay."
I know! Guys, come on!
The umbrella floats down to earth. It opens up, and as it flips over, sitting cross-legged within it is a pale woman in a green and purple kimono that leaves little to the imagination.
Yeah.
She flips out 2 fans, which drip with water, and Tiger says, "Nice! Cool them down with plenty of water." She flips her fans over in her hands like Loki and his knives, and the Senshi are like, "Uh-oh." And the lemur's umbrella starts spinning like a top, and she rushes at them, just blasting water everywhere. And Moon and Chibi get sprayed with water, but they realize it's not water. It's like acid, I guess.
It was really unclear to me.
They're like, "It's not water."
What they're talking about.
Isn't it? They said water 57 times.
I know.
So I don't know what it's supposed to be.
I don't understand. I was confused with my translation too. So.
It's Tang. Chibi calls out for Mamoru, and inside, working on his paper, Mamoru thinks, "Uh-oh, my Osako sense is tingling." He starts to get up, but Diana says, "Sir Mamoru, if you don't do your best, you won't finish in time." And Mamoru's like, okay. Screaming can be heard in the distance.
I know.
Back on the battlefield, Geico's going to help these two save 50% or more on their funeral arrangements.
No.
As she says, water moves freely to the right and left. And she spreads her fans out and creates walls of water that trap Usagi and Chibi and corral them together. The lemur lands, closing her parasol and saying, "Rainy boy crosses the canyon." And now stay with me here. She fires an arc of water that becomes a rainbow.
Yes.
And then it's flowing within the rainbow are little creatures that look like shuttlecocks with angry faces painted on them.
We'll talk about it.
Totally typical attack.
Right.
Getting sick of this one, really. I guess they are shuttlecocks because she just starts pummeling Usagi and Chibi. They're like, "Wah, wah, 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 wah." But Shine Aqua Illusion does something. It washes them away.
Water
I like how they can't
meets
figure out what this
water?
does.
I don't know.
And a Venus Love Me chain knocks the lemur back, and a sparkling wide pressure slams into her parasol, singeing it to a skeleton. The Sailor Senshi are here. This does not make Geico happy. And her face turns from a beautiful woman to an angry Oni as she begins casting Great Wave off Kanagawa. But that's a full round action.
Yeah, right.
And Chibiusa uses a quick action, Call Pegasus. And with a wave of her Carillon and a twinkle yell, Pegasus appears. He says, "Hey, about what I said before, this is just a casual thing, right? I'm seeing other 6-year-olds.
Oh my God.
Why can't you just be cool?"
No.
Geico begins charging at Moon and Chibi, probably doing something incredibly unfunny and belabored, too. And everybody says, "No, Sailor Moon!" Usagi struggles to her feet and uses Moon Gorgeous Meditation to stage out the lemur for the last time. With a frustrated grunt, Tiger pieces out through a ring of fire, and Ray collapses to the ground, only to awaken in Sailor Moon's arms. And she calls her Sailor Moon, too. Good instincts, Ray.
Yeah.
She doesn't know who's around.
Right.
She was on Dream Street. She comes to... Sailor Moon.
Yes.
Right? Keep that secret identity secret. Later at Fruit Parlor Crown, Usagi is bawling Mamoru out for not coming and rescuing her for once. He apologizes profusely, and we never find out if he gets a good grade on his paper, so what's it worth? Also, Yuichiro is busy apologizing to Ray for being led astray by Grandpa. Nobody pressed charges. I guess it's okay. Ray has no idea what he's talking about. She almost died today. But across the parlor, she sees a cute waiter and thinks, "So handsome." While Yuichiro continues to prostrate himself and say that he's sorry.
Yes.
Okay, real fast. Ray can still be bi. That's okay.
Okay.
And as far as this waiter guy goes, I got 2 points. One, he was pretty twinky. And he's got an earring.
Wow. Whoa. Okay. All right.
And 2, she did it to twist the knife on Yuichiro, I think.
Possibly.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do it right then and there?
Either that or she wasn't even listening to him.
Notice when she's a bride in the future, there isn't a groom there. You put him in that place like he's taller, so his head is his face is just out of frame. We don't see her with a man. We just know she's getting married.
Or it's like, a lot of little girls dream about being brides when they're kids because it's something that's just ingrained in you.
But you're not thinking like, and it's gonna be David Cassidy.
No, or
Jack Cassidy.
In fact, maybe this is kind of sad looking back on it, but when I was in kindergarten for Halloween, I dressed up as a bride and my mom made my costume. I was a small child. I was Chibiusa's age.
Can you still fit into it?
No, of course not.
It still fits.
Stop. But
I'm not giving up.
No.
I'm not giving up on Ray, giving up on men. Just not.
That's fine. That's fine.
Look, there's we've talked about this. I don't know why it's so important to me. Trying to find, this is just what LGBTQ people do, is just try to find, the evidence of representation where there clearly is none, but maybe you can read it. Ray's got to be bi.
You know what?
She's raysexual. We talked about this.
Yes, I'm fine with Ray being bi. There's nothing wrong with that.
Bring Haruka back. Let's see what happens.
Well, everybody kind of likes Haruka, I mean, so.
They got my letters.
Yeah?
I just feel like two episodes makes a streak, right? So we'll have to see what next week is like. But I feel like this was a little better.
It was a little better than last week. Last week was...
It was real low point.
It was real low.
And there is plenty of stuff in this that we'll probably talk about when we rate this. That's going to detract. But I feel like there is more going on. They clearly went, Momo hasn't done anything in a while, and let's throw him together with Diana. We got to get her out there and do some stuff. And so it's not exactly a Mamoru solo jam, but there's a weird, new thing that they're kind of exploring. Again, we talk about how, speaking of ninjas and assassins, they're just assassinating Usagi's character every week.
Yeah.
It's hard to... We've talked about the growth that we've seen from her, and is growth fun? Can we make stories out of growth? If she just does all her homework and she calmly walks to school with a piece of toast, do we have a show still? And so they keep growing her and then keep, maybe there's some things about her that are just, quintessentially Usagi, but she's really childish in this one. Like, very childish.
Super childish. And I was thinking about it and I was just kind of taken aback because just a couple of episodes ago, like, Chibiusa was like, you got to get in there because Mamoru might leave you for his classmate.
Right.
And she was like, Mama won't leave me. And she was like super chill and cool. And like, we were talking about how she's grown. She's confident in her relationship. Yeah. And this takes, I don't know, 3 or 4 bajillion steps back. Like, she's jealous of Ami. Yeah. And then she's jealous of Ray.
Should they have stopped at 3?
What?
3 seasons? I know they're adapting. I know they're adapting the manga.
Yeah.
And so that's what you got. But at some point it's like, well, we got to go back to the well again. But they're not even, at some point so everybody says diminishing returns like it's something you can't control. And she's like, I don't know, the audience just wants to move on. But sometimes diminishing returns is, we're going to work a little less hard on this, or we're going to let the really talented people that got this thing up and running are going to go off and do Hunter or something like that. And so, the B team comes in. We don't even have like a burned cookie arc. Remember, like last year, we got the burned cookies.
Oh, the burned cookies.
She makes the cookies.
Yep. See, that was
eats
actually...
the cookies.
That was
And
decent.
she says to herself, I'm going to be a better girlfriend to him. And then it's Billy Family Circus path of tracing it, but then it kind of completes as we get to the end.
Yeah.
We haven't even set something like that up this year.
No, there's no overarching goal.
There's just
for
tests.
Usagi or any of the girls. Yeah, I know.
So anyway, they got my letters.
Yes.
My letter. Stop being as creepy. And
back off.
More interplay between the Senshi. And
yes, please.
Give Diana something to do so that I don't hate her.
I mean, yeah, and I don't know. I feel like even though Mamoru and Diana had something to do in this episode, it wasn't. They didn't actually do that much.
Well, here's what you do.
Know?
You make it personal, and you take the two things. You make it personal. You take the aspect of the character, and you apply it in good and bad ways. So the personal thing is he's got to finish his homework instead of superheroing.
Yes.
That's a Peter Parker moment right there.
Yes.
You know, having to balance your life and your superheroing job. And then making it, taking the aspects of a character and applying them both good and bad. Having Diana be so just fastidious about, her duties.
Yes.
Causing the problem in the first place because she freaks out about the smoke,
Mm-hmm.
but then later, like making him, no, you got to do this, paper. And so it's good for his civilian life that he got the paper done. But it's also kind of good. This is where they dropped the ball. It's also kind of good that the girls didn't need Mamo for once to get out of something. They got my letters.
Right.
But it isn't like they're aware of accomplishing something and they think, you know what, in the future, well, go ahead, just keep your roses at home.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, she's just like, you didn't come.
Yeah.
Because assassination. Character. Usagi. Dead.
I know. It's depressing.
So anyway, it's not just weird things happening randomly. They're, they're applying the characters to the situations. And that is when Sailor Moon is at its best.
I agree. And I do agree with you too that there hasn't been a lot of interactions between the Senshi in this season. I feel like besides Usagi and Chibi, the rest of the Senshi have been largely absent.
Yeah.
And I am not a fan of that.
No.
At all.
Well, we keep adding cats. And little children.
It's not the cat's fault.
To push them out.
Oh my gosh. Today for Kyoro, Kyoro, and Miru are curiously looking around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode. We're going to talk about ninja. Yes.
You know that sound effect? It's like a stock sound effect.
Yes.
It might be racist, but it's like
might be.
It's just a flute.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A friend of mine had my rich friend when I was growing up had a Casio keyboard with all the trimmings and all the buttons and everything. Sure. And there was a ninja setting.
Oh no.
Look, it was
oh no.
It was the season. And
yeah, all right,
so
it was the time.
You hit that and it's like
okay, that's kind of funny.
But what's it for? You can't do anything with that.
I don't know, man.
It's like
you just make a ooh song.
But how do you? I guess so. Here's the thing. I am a musician. I was a musician then, but I had a very narrow focus of music. You can record things on those, right? Or I suppose there's an out, right? And so you can
I think so, yeah.
MIDI or a AV out, and so you can record onto a thing. So maybe you're gonna make a sound at a certain tone, and then add that to another recording that you're doing. Because you're not going to sit and play
make sense.
Mary Had a Little Lamb with ninja sounds.
I'm sure somebody
Or it's
did.
got an explosion sound. And it's
right.
You can't just hit the button really fast and throw that into a song. I'm going to drop the beat.
Right.
Bam, bam, bam.
Right.
You're not going to do that.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
The shakuhachi.
Yes. that's the flute.
Oh my God, I did it!
Yes.
I did it!
You remembered.
I never get it right!
Ba, 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 da, da, da. Woohoo! So here is a fun fact for you.
Whoa!
Ninjas are pretty popular figures in Japanese history, right? So you think that it would be pretty easy to research them, right?
I think it would be about as easy as trying to research a cheeseburger. You're going to get a lot of hungry cats. The internet has ruined ninjas.
They have, because if you Google ninja, a link about actual honest-to-God ninjas is the 4th link down. Ninja kitchen appliances
Blenders,
are first,
Blenders.
followed by Ninja, the Twitch gaming streamer.
Right.
So I had
What's
to hunt...
number 3, motorcycles?
Well, actually, there were 2 Ninja kitchen appliances and then, or 2 Ninja gaming stream. I can't remember, but there were 2 repeated ones, and then it was... Ninja Wikipedia page.
What if Ninja was using a ninja while riding a ninja?
Dude, I'm sure it's happened. So yeah, I had to hunt down actual links about actual ninjas. So I think that historical ninjas need to work on their SEO. That's what I think.
Maybe it's working great.
Maybe it is.
You don't want to find a ninja, right?
Good freaking point.
Yeah.
They're hiding in plain sight, everybody.
They are.
Yes. So let's honor ninjas and take a historical look at their role in Japanese history. A ninja or shinobi was an espionage agent in feudal Japan. The functions of a ninja included reconnaissance, espionage, infiltration, deception, and later bodyguarding. Due to their covert methods of waging irregular warfare, ninjas were typically thought of as dishonorable and beneath the honorable samurai. Samurai were expected to uphold the moral code of Bushido and to conduct themselves with honor.
Right.
So during the Warring States period, a strong need for reconnaissance emerged in order for various daimyo to discover what their enemies would do next. The daimyos needed men who were willing to spy and commit deeds that the traditional samurai simply wouldn't do. Enter the ninja. Although the first specialized shinobi training began in the mid-15th century, ninja predecessors existed as early as the 12th century. Like the samurai, ninja were born into, or sometimes adopted into, the profession, where traditions were kept and passed down from generation to generation, usually orally. The ninja was trained from childhood, as was also common in samurai families.
It's like passed down.
Yeah.
Son, you're going to be a ninja one day.
Yeah, right,
I don't
exactly.
want to, Dad.
Too bad.
I want to be a samurai. Don't say that, son. Don't say that.
Don't say that. Well, and then it's interesting because it is thought that maybe some samurai became ninjas and also the other way around. Some ninjas became samurai. It's all very muddy.
Well, I mean, like it's just like being a knight, right? Like if you're a samurai, well, actually a lot like being a knight. There are plenty of samurai who probably didn't know how to sword fight at all. They were just the richest guy in an area.
Yeah.
But a lot of them were highly trained.
Yes.
And good at what they did. And then, your lord has to commit seppuku because he stepped on somebody's kimono, and then you don't got a job anymore, and you have a lot of skills, a special set of skills. And so it's like people leaving the military. They get out of the army and they're like, well, I'm like an operator, so you go work for Blackwater or something and make 10 times what you made in the army.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The ninja families were organized into larger guilds, each with their own territories. A system of rank existed, because of course it did. Jonin, or upper person, was the highest rank, representing the group and hiring out shinobi. This is followed by the chunin, or middle person, who assists the jonin. And at the bottom was the genin, or lower person, who were field agents drawn from the lower class and assigned to carry out actual missions.
Like the samurai was a class, obviously, but the ninja, like by definition, wasn't a class.
No.
So like, they didn't call themselves ninja, did they?
No, and actually, I'm going to get to it in a minute, but they weren't.
Hokusai did a bunch of sketches of ninjas. I know. Sorry, I have a lot of ninja facts. I like ninjas. We all love ninjas.
We all love ninjas. The term ninja was not commonly used in traditional Japan. They were called shinobi.
Right.
So
like
yeah.
Joe Musashi.
Yeah. Right. What?
That's a video game thing.
Okay. So after the Warring States period was over, many former ninja were employed as security guards. Excuse me.
They're just like outside of the clubs.
Yeah, right.
In their masks.
Well, by the Tokugawa.
Sorry,
shogunate.
too full.
Yeah, right.
You, not you. You can come in.
But the role of espionage was transferred to newly created organizations like the Onmitsu and the Oniwaban. Remember Oniwaban Dana? Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. So reconnaissance and espionage did not go away. During the Meiji Restoration, shinobi had become a topic of popular imagination and mystery in Japan. Ninja figured prominently in legend and folklore, where they were associated with legendary abilities such as invisibility, walking on water, and control over natural elements.
They're benders.
Yes. I think this might be where some of that maybe even comes from, even though they're not ninja. But
what I love too is that like this is all BS, obviously, but it only helps them, right? And so it's like their myth grows. When you think about, it's funny because like somebody came up with Batman without even knowing about ninja. But Batman basically, once Batman became big enough, and then after World War II, the Eastern ideas about ninja stuff got over here.
Yes.
It was like this convergent evolution where he just went, well, obviously Batman was a ninja.
Obviously.
And when he was young, trained with ninjas.
Of course he did.
With a special set of skills. And so like the whole thing about Batman is that he's just a guy in a cape.
Right.
Now, obviously, he's a super rich guy in a cape who's like really ripped. This guy's cut.
Yeah.
And he's got a cool car, but he's just a guy in a cape. Like
Right.
if you have a good night, you can shoot him probably.
Yes.
But if you think that he could be anywhere and that he drinks blood,
Right.
and he hangs out with literal gods, maybe you're going to steal a purse. You look up in the sky, you see that bat symbol, and you're like, I'll go home tonight.
Right.
That's what I liked about that new movie. They
Me too.
put that in that movie where people are like, I'm good.
I'm done being a criminal for tonight.
No more crime for me tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really true. And there was a lot, and actually still is, which we'll talk about in a minute, a lot of misinformation about ninjas. But it is possible that a lot of the misinformation that was around in feudal Japan was, spread by actual ninjas because they didn't want people to, know their identities. They didn't want people to know what they were up to.
Yeah.
So
it was the Chuck Norris facts of the Sengoku period.
What?
Right?
What?
They're like, I saw a ninja. Somebody shot an arrow at him and he pulled it out of his chest and shot it back and killed the guy.
Yeah, right.
Ninja facts.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and then also another part of it is I think it was the Meiji Restoration as well. A lot of kabuki plays featured ninja. And so they were doing a lot of fantastical things within the plays. And so that's where a lot of the misconceptions spread, because I don't think that they necessarily researched or were, doing anything that was historically accurate. So ninja is the onyomi, or early, speaking of, Middle Chinese influenced reading of two kanji. And in the native kunyomi reading, it is pronounced shinobi.
Okay, so it's one of those two pronunciations.
Yes.
Okay.
A shortened version of shinobi no mono. The word shinobi appears in written records as far back as the 8th century in poems in the Manyoshu, The underlying connotation of shinobi means, quote, to steal away, to hide, and by extension, quote, to forbear. Hence its association with stealth and invisibility. Mono means, quote, a person. So,
there you go.
a stealthy person, basically. Historically, the word ninja was not commonly used, as I said before, and a variety of regional colloquialisms evolved to describe what would later be dubbed ninja. Despite many popular folktales, historical accounts of the ninja are scarce. And I guess I should mention, too, after World War II in the West, the term ninja became really popular, and it is thought that maybe it was easier to say for Westerners than shinobi. People aren't really sure, but for whatever reason, ninja caught on, shinobi didn't. So that's what they were.
Okay.
Despite many popular folktales, historical accounts of the ninja are scarce. And a lot of that is because they didn't want their their skills and the way that they did things known. Right. And that's why it was passed down orally. So there wasn't really a lot of written things about them, because all of their things were secret. The things that they did were secret. But historian Stephen Turnbull asserts that the ninjas were mostly recruited from the lower class, and therefore little literary interest was taken in them. Most of what is historically known today about the ninja comes from the Iga province and the adjacent Koka district.
The Iga clan.
Yes, you got it.
I know I'm a ninja.
Yes. Jizamurai families or elite peasant workers in Iga province and the adjacent Koka district formed Iki, or leagues, as a means of self-defense. They became known for their military activities in the nearby regions and sold their services as mercenaries and spies. The families in these areas are known as the Iga and Koka, also known as Koga clans.
Right.
Sometimes you see Koka, sometimes you see Koga, but the city is Koka. I don't know. The remoteness and inaccessibility of the surrounding mountains in Iga and Koka most likely had a role in the ninjas' secretive development and training. A distinction needs to be made between the ninja from these areas and commoners or samurai hired as spies or mercenaries. Unlike their counterparts, the Iga and Koga clans were professionals specifically trained for their roles. These professional ninjas were actively hired by daimyos between 1485 and 1581 until Oda Nobunaga invaded Iga province and wiped out the organized clans. Survivors were forced to flee, some to the mountains of Ki, but others arrived before Tokugawa Ieyasu, where they were well treated. Some former Iga clan members, including Hattori Hanzo, would later serve as Tokugawa's bodyguards.
Nice.
And Hanzo, I read somewhere, is largely credited for helping Tokugawa unite the all of the parts of Japan. So and of course we know him from Kill Bill. So
he's very popular, legendary sort of ninja character who's in a lot of stuff.
But he was a real person.
Yeah, he's like the Johnny Ninja Seed.
Right.
Or maybe George Ninjaton.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's a good one. George Ninjaton.
But I like the fact that, like, ninja are, you want to talk about class warfare. Like, ninja are like, the samurai are the upper class. They're the lords. Mm-hmm. And ninjas are just getting it done. And a lot of times they're using weapons that are tools that are then modified or just used straight
farm tools
as
largely.
A weapon because they're just there.
Well, and I a couple other things I came across too is that ninjas had day jobs.
Well, you have to moonlight as a ninja.
Clearly. And a lot of them, it's thought, we don't know for sure, but a lot of them it's thought were farmers during the day.
Yeah.
And then did training and reconnaissance at night.
Yeah.
So, A number of shinobi manuals, often based on Chinese military philosophy, were written in the 17th and 18th centuries, most notably the Bansen Shukai, which was published in 1676. The Bansen Shukai contains 48 ninja skills, such as how to make makibishi from bamboo, how to make footwear that makes no sound, etc.
It's the anarchist cookbook of the 16th century.
Well, oh my God. Don't say that. The skills required of the ninja have come to be known in modern times as ninjutsu, but it is unlikely they were previously named under a single discipline, rather distributed among a variety of espionage and survival skills.
And this is like, the Edo era now. So this is everything's commercialized at this point. This is all academic.
Yes.
This is after the conflicts are over, and a lot of the ninja have probably put their nunchucks down for the last time because they're not needed anymore.
Yeah.
And so somebody comes in with like a big coffee table book, and they're like, oh, the skills of the ninja. Check this out.
Right.
You can grow a third eye. Read this.
Right.
God knows if any of this is like true or not.
Well,
because nobody wrote anything down because it's secret.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be a secret.
And contrary to popular conception, ninjutsu is not a martial art or a form of hand-to-hand combat. When used in warfare, the role of shinobi was generally closer to a scout, and at other times a spy, infiltrating areas and gathering information. Being a fighter wasn't a prerequisite for being a ninja. I mean, I think from what I've read, most of the time they avoided fighting. That was not a planned thing. You wanted to, if you wanted to gather information, which is a lot of the times what they were doing, you wanted to stealthily get into some place, get some intel, stealthily leave.
Or if you're just going to walk in the front door in a geisha outfit because you're a kunoichi, and that's what you're going to do. And you're going to hear a conversation or maybe slip something into somebody's tea.
Right.
And you don't know how to do a flying kick or something. That's not your job.
No. So, right, exactly. And of course, ninja didn't fly. There's all these myths about ninja.
Maybe they did.
But, it's possible that some of them were really good fighters or martial artists on their own. And, hopefully if they did get in a scrape, they could get their way out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ninjutsu was a collection of survival skills that included techniques of espionage, gathering information, stealth, sabotage, propaganda, and counterintelligence. Ninjutsu also included training in escape, concealment, archery, and medicine. One thing that I read said that the medicine might be if they don't get out without being attacked, then they could cure themselves or other ninja or something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
it's also, again, what is a guy living in a big palace who's a samurai going to know about medicine? He's going to call for his apothecary or whatever.
That's true.
These are people who are, the common clay. They have herbal medicine. And so you have to take care of yourself. And so you can just that's another thing that you can just fold into the suite of skills that you've got.
Right. And I think there's also a modern misconception that the samurai and the ninja were rivals or hated each other or something like that. But that actually isn't true. They actually, especially in the Warring States period, they worked together pretty closely. A lot of the times ninja were scouts in actual, battle and stuff like that. Or they would basically cause distractions or misdirections to the other groups that they were fighting. Oftentimes somebody would steal a flag or something like that was representative of the enemy and confuse people.
Right.
And then they would get attacked. So anyways, so now before I started doing research on this, you were telling me about a website that was just ninja facts.
Yeah, it was Total Ninja Power or whatever, right?
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't find it.
Oh.
But I have my own ninja facts.
Okay.
Because I thought it would be kind of fun to just kind of throw some stuff out there. You may know a lot of this already, but I don't know if our listeners do. But the term shuriken does not mean throwing star. It literally means, quote, hidden hand blade. Additionally, there is no historical evidence that ninjas actually use them. They could have, but we don't know.
Yeah.
So
Where did they come from then?
I heard.
And aren't they Chinese stars?
Oh my God. I read somewhere that they were actually a weapon that samurai used.
It's funny because they're not, when you think about it, it really goes with poison, doesn't it? It pairs well.
Yeah.
Because you just throw an ninja star, it's like, oh, you threw this at me.
I know.
Makes a half-inch, wound in them. It's like you'd have a mad samurai.
Yeah.
But if it was coated with something,
Yes.
or if it was a lot of their weapons could just be like, "Don't follow me," right? So if you threw a bunch of ninja stars, it'd be like, I'm not going to follow this guy. Or like you throw the spikes, the caltrops on the ground,
Yes.
and somebody's like, "Oh, my foot."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The website is Real Ultimate Power.
Oh, I wish you told me that
I don't
before.
know if it's still around.
Okay.
It was created very early in the internet's life in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And it was just, it was like a satire website.
Okay.
And it was written from the perspective of like a kid, like a teenage kid who's like, this ninjas are so cool. They could do this. They could do that. Ninjas are mammals. Here's another fact. Ninjas fight all the time. And number 3 was the purpose of a ninja is to flip out and kill people.
Oh my God.
Those are the ninja rules.
Okay. I didn't know this was a satire.
It's like
okay.
real
That's
ultimate
awesome.
power is what it was called.
Okay, that's great. I love the title and everything. Okay, back to ninja facts. The clothes that the shinobi wore differed depending on their situation. If working at night, they would wear either black or navy blue. I actually found conflicting information about this.
I've heard blue too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And
Because the sky's dark blue.
yeah. Well, like they said, something I read said they actually blend in better.
Right.
And then also,
It's a navy.
yeah, right.
It's more of a winter.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
cloth.
But other places I were like, oh, they wear black. And I'm like, is that true? Anyways. But if they were working in snow, they would wear white because you want to blend in.
Storm shadow.
But most of the time they would actually wear common civilian clothing.
Right, they were just like in a shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Ninjas didn't always wear masks. In fact, there is no historical evidence that the ninja mask as we know it today ever existed. If they wanted to wear a mask to conceal their identity, ninja would wear a mask that was commonly worn by everyday folk, for example, during the Edo period. And it was essentially a flap of fabric that covered your nose and mouth and was tied around your head. That
like
was
a
it.
bandana.
Yeah.
Like Billy the Kid.
But it's a little different than a bandana. Like it goes down, it's kind of like more shaped like a bib, but it's like cooler than that.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, okay. But it's long and then curved at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then it has little ties at the top.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Like Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah, I know. So I was like, there's this whole section about assassinations that were supposedly done by ninjas, or assassination attempts on Wikipedia. And like the vast majority, they're like, well, we don't really know because we don't know their identities and, things were done in secret. So there are assassinations that could have been done by ninjas.
Right.
But then they like listed like 4 or 5 that were failed assassination attempts that were done by
Those are the ones you know
ninjas.
about.
Yeah.
The successful ones, you're like, that guy died. I don't know.
I don't know what
I
happened.
don't know what happened.
I know. Well, there was like one weird one where supposedly a guy was like attacked by a ninja when he was sitting on the toilet and like through the toilet. I'm like, really? That sounds messed up. And then it was like something like he had some sort of like internal organ, like in digestive organ, like disease that he probably died from or something like that. Like, I don't think he was actually attacked. He, died of natural causes. But anyways.
Yikes.
Yeah. Okay, I've got one more ninja fact and then my closing thing that I wanted to share.
Okay.
So, Jinichi Kawakami is the last ninja grandmaster and is officially recognized by the Japanese government.
Okay.
Kawakami has publicly stated that he won't name a successor. So, that is why he is known as the last ninja grandmaster.
I'm taking it with me.
Yeah, right.
I can take it with me.
Well, I guess he said in an interview that it just doesn't seem practical to do anymore. Like, we don't need it anymore. So why?
Yeah. Also, it's like maybe it's fake. So it's like, well, go ahead and train him. He's ready.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to know the stuff. I'm gonna take it with me.
I mean, I suppose it's possible. Well, and then I watched this video too that, like, so ninjutsu is it's survival skills. It's a set of skills, right? And
That's a particular set of skills.
yes, exactly. But supposedly anybody can learn these skills. You don't need to be professionally trained. If you are professionally trained, you're probably going to be better at those skills.
It's only ninja if it's from the ninja region
Right,
of France.
exactly.
Otherwise, it's just sparkling combat.
Right.
Yeah.
Only if you're from Iga or Koga and the Iga and Koga clan are you specifically a ninja.
Right.
Everybody knows this.
Yeah. Don't bring that Brand X ninjutsu in here.
No.
If people want, well, let's talk about ninja media.
Okay.
Obviously, there is Naruto,
Of course.
which has been covered.
Mm-hmm.
If people want to get some good ninja stuff, I would say the early issues of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Nice.
the comic book.
Yes.
Okay, there's no pizza. Okay, but like the first
pizza out of
the
here.
first year or two is some really good, bare bones ninja stories. They happen to be turtles. That's about it. But it's all a Daredevil ripoff, basically. There's another good example. If you want some ninja stories, always fighting the hand.
Yep.
But yeah, the early Ninja Turtle stuff is gritty. It's a black and white comic, and it's just like four, young guys who are turtles who are dealing with being ninjas and having to, fight for their lives, but also just trying to, make their way in the big city in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty good stuff. And then also, this seems weird because it's not about a ninja, but Lone Wolf and Cub.
Okay.
The classic manga by Kazuo Koike is about Ogami Ito, the executioner, the Koji Kaishakunin, the official executioner for the shogun.
Okay.
And
Right.
he is, he's a samurai, he is an honorable man, and he is set up by the Urayagu, the Yagu clan,
Okay.
because he's too honorable, and they want to. This is all based on like semi-historical, kind of historical fiction type stuff. A lot of like real people pop up in these stories, but they set him up. They first of all they kill his wife and everybody in his house because he's got servants and retainers and stuff like that. And then while they're investigating, under the guise of investigating this terrible murder, a ninja sneaks in and puts a funeral tablet, an ihai, with the hollyhock crest of the Tokugawa shogunate in his rooms, which is like symbolic of like him, wishing for the death of the emperor. And so they're like, oh, this is treason. And so they set him up.
Okay.
And then they rule, the shogun rules, you must kill yourself. And he goes, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm taking my kid and we're going to track down the real killers. We're going to get out there. And it's like 26 volumes. It's from the 70s. It's like 26, 28 volumes. And over the course of it, it's just like this travelogue of Japan. You can learn a lot of stuff. And then it's, we talk about like, has Sailor Moon gone on too long? It's 28 volumes. So like every single week, some new guy is coming out of the woodwork.
Right.
But a lot of the people that he fights are ninja, and they follow this idea. There's a heightened reality, but there's no magic powers or anything. It's all stuff that could possibly be a thing.
Yes.
And a lot of the ninja that he fights is just like, it's just a dad who's just working in the fields, and he gets a note. You're reactivated. You are Kusa. You are grass.
Right.
but
Right. That is another name that
but
they were called
You're
sometimes.
back now. And so he's a character too. So he has to go to his son and go, son, I might not be back, and then goes and obviously he's going to get killed by the lone wolf because the lone wolf kills everybody. But it's just like he cuts this path of destruction, through the countryside. And it's about, what effect that has on him, and what the effect of violence, on a society and on a person's soul. And it's really good. And obviously it was made into a bunch of movies and, there's a lot of stuff out there, but the original Lone Wolf and Cub manga is really good.
I've read the first volume and I really enjoyed it, but I would like to continue reading it, and I need to reread the
I
first
got them all
volume.
somewhere around here.
I know you do. So I have one last closing thing about Ninja. On June 19th, 2022, Coca City announced that a written copy of Kanrin Seiyo, which is the original source of the famous book on the art of ninja called Bansen Shukai, which I mentioned earlier, was discovered in a warehouse of
an Indiana Jones warehouse.
Yeah, right. Of Kazuraki Shrine. So in a shrine warehouse.
Okay.
The handwritten reproduction was produced in 1748, so quite a bit, at least 100 or so years after the original was out.
Okay.
But
so it's good.
Yeah, so it's good. So, I mean, that's kind of cool, It's handwritten, it's historical in some ways, but how historically accurate? We don't really know.
Something can be old and still full of crap.
That is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways,
like
I
Plato,
thought that was interesting.
Plato wrote about Atlantis. He's like, check it out. People are like, oh, wow.
This is real.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? So Mamo's downstairs neighbors were cooking fish in
Nobody's
their
eating
kitchen.
fish.
Yeah.
Not this fish.
Got burned. I don't know. Usagi says that she will be back to get Mamo after she eats breakfast because as much as she's absolutely not leaving without him, she needs food.
Yeah, she's got to get that breakfast.
Yeah, that's right. Grandpa Hino asks a young lady if she would like to get some coffee at Coffee Terry, which means shrine or luster in Japanese, like the shop behind him.
Yeah.
Everyone at Fruit Parlor Crown at the end of the episode is either drinking melon soda or coffee. So they have their drinks.
It was Coffee Terry, but the way that it's written, it looks kind of like coffee tea.
I think it's
because of the R and the I.
Terry, actually, not Terry, because it's Japanese.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if that was like a visual pun.
Like coffee and
tea. Does it go that deep with Japanese? Because they serve coffee and tea,
not.
But it's Coffee Terry, which means something in Japanese.
Yeah.
Some sign letterer is like, that really helped those guys out. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The right people will get this.
Right, exactly. Villain Gauge re-rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The lemur in this episode is named Mizu Geiko, the water geisha.
The trick, water, flip, dip, whatever you see
yes,
said in my translation.
The 3 kanji that make up her name individually mean water, art, technique, craft, performance, or acting, and child. The first and second kanji together can be interpreted as water techniques and or tricks, and the second and third kanji together mean geiko, which is the term used for geisha in Kyoto specifically.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, they're called geiko in Kyoto.
Are they more fancy in Kyoto or something?
No. I think that most people in Japan, Kyoto is probably the most famous city for having geisha.
Probably more fancy then.
So sure, more fancy. They're fancy, so they call themselves geiko.
She's pretty fancy.
Yeah, it is pretty fancy.
Our geishas don't wear bras.
Whoa. We're that fancy.
We don't. Sometimes we get a lot of cleavage.
Yes.
Occasionally we get side boob.
We got both in this.
But this is just straight breastbone.
Yeah, I know.
All the way.
2 great tastes that taste great together. So her design, she has white skin, pointed ears, red lipstick, red eyeshadow, which is underneath her eyes,
Right.
which is reminiscent of a geisha,
Right.
or geiko, and black hair that it is an elaborate geisha hairdo piled high on her head with a ponytail also coming down and back. And she has a pink bow on top and a 4-pointed gold black and purple hairpiece in front. She is wearing a lime green kimono, which is underneath a purple kamishimo, or the set of katagino, which is a vest with the pointy shoulders and the hakama.
Right.
Which is, common. Mostly men wore that particular type of outfit, the kamishimo. But I think it's cool that she's wearing it. On the sleeveless top are 2 red diamonds where normally crests or mono would typically be, which I think is, that's a cool touch. Her kimono is, of course, open from her neck to her navel, exposing part of her chest, side boobs galore.
Boom.
She is also wearing wooden gaita. Her power, this is what you're talking about, in my translation, it was called the Little Rainmaker's Rainbow Bridge. I don't know, man. That's what it was called.
Okay.
Where the water in her parasol changes into a rainbow, and there are little white ghost-looking figures with angry eyes and teeth. These are angry versions of teru bozu, which literally means, quote, shine, shine, monk. It is a small, traditional handmade talisman that originated from the Edo period in Japan, made from white paper or cloth, and Japanese farmers began hanging them outside of their window by a string. This talisman is supposed to have magical powers to bring good weather and to stop or prevent a rainy day. Teru is a Japanese verb that describes sunshine, and a bozu is a Buddhist monk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why is it it's an attack?
I don't know, because they're angry and she's a water gecko. They were just like, water, what can we do? And these things are supposed to prevent water, so then there's like a rain, so there's like a rainbow.
Is there some kind of performance implied here?
She's all performance.
Right, but I mean,
don't know.
like, you've got like, oh, I'm going to shoot myself out of a cannon. Oh, I'm juggling knives. This lady's like, oh, I'm spraying with water.
It's weird. Okay, I love it because it's strange and it's like a little like Easter egg about Japanese culture.
Yeah, I guess.
But I don't know. You often see teru bozu in like Japanese film and anime. Like sometimes little kids make them and put them in the window, and you'll just see them in the background. And you're like, what are those ghost-like things? Well, this is what they are.
So she's shooting ghosts at them.
Yeah. And I think I've made them before too. And in like modern days, they're just made with like Kleenex, a marker, a cotton ball, and some string. So
Okay.
yeah.
She's shooting little boys.
Little monks. She's shooting little sunshine.
Bozu is
sunshine.
also a like affection term for a small boy.
Okay.
Well, that's why it would be like rainy boy crosses the canyon.
Okay. What's that?
That's what she says in my translation.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Rainy boy crosses the canyon.
Rainy boy crosses the canyon.
Crosses the canyon.
I like Little Rainmaker's Rainbow Bridge more, but okay. You take yours, I'll take mine.
It's all pretty strange.
Well, yes, it is. So now we're up to our rating. I like her overall look. I like that she can fly on top of her parasol. That was pretty cool. Again, the Little Rainmaker's Rainbow Bridge power was very entertaining. I'm not exactly sure what the purpose of it was, but I liked it. And I liked that she transitioned into kabuki, and the Hakusai's wave behind her. And she had kabuki makeup on when she had that in the background. So I thought that was cool. Yeah. So I thought that overall she was cool, but she didn't do... I'd like to see more varied attacks and that sort of thing. So I'm going to give her 3 out of 5 dark stars.
Yeah, I'm going to give her a 3 as well. It's could have easily been a 4.
It could have.
But it's tough to get a 4 with about 85 seconds of screen time.
It's very short.
They waited so long to bring any bad guys in. And honestly, for all the horrible things the bad guys are doing, maybe that's the way we should go from now on. But that means you can't make much of an impression.
Yes.
This is a very distinctive design. I enjoyed that part. But the totally random powers, like you said, hey, if you look it up, it's a Japanese history lesson or a culture lesson, which is what we're all about. The Rainy Boys, the arc, he's going over the canyon.
Okay.
The rainbow's over the canyon.
Sure.
But it's another example of like, let's just throw 3 or 4 things together. These cards are left on the board, so let's just put them together. It's one guy. There's water. There's an umbrella doing stuff. So it's a little too disjointed, although memorable, cool looking though. Mm-hmm. Didn't say anything really, so that's not much going on there. I like it when they talk.
Take a bow or our rating on how our villains left the stage of life. We get a pretty dramatic version of Stage Out, and she's in a more dramatic position from the usual ending pose. So I'm gonna give her a 3 out of 5.
Again, you're like 3. I'm gonna go 4.
All right, sure.
Why not? Let's give a good one. Give a good rating at some point. Yeah, a little different. Maybe this is like a part of the kind of no theater or kabuki thing going on.
I think so.
Because it's kind of like a theatrical sort of pose that she's doing, and it's a good scream. And so, yeah, that was solid.
Yeah, it was.
She hit her mark.
She did. Thank goodness. So, our rating for this episode. I like the way that Yuichiro screamed with the lightning in the background after Usagi insulted him.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. I laughed out loud. I love how even when Usagi has somehow managed to stealthily make her way into Rei's room, she clumsily comes out from underneath the table.
Yes.
It's just like shaky, shaky, shaky.
Yes.
And then I love that Usagi is dressed up like a ninja. And also she's all in red. So it's like a color that, they never wear.
Right.
Even, culturally and in popular entertainment, they would never wear that or, so I think it's hilarious. All done on purpose. I like how Tiger's Eye says pathetic. What is this world coming to? And it's like, dude, you are so like them. But it was like you said, it was a wonderful line, said by him. So yeah. Ultimately, I feel like this episode doesn't really move the plot forward that much. I did enjoy it more than last week, but it wasn't like my fave or, I didn't enjoy it a whole lot. So, nothing really awful, but not super awesome. So I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 roses.
It's kind of like there's some good stuff and there's some bad stuff. It's kind of like balanced. It's almost like a rating kind of in the middle of a scale.
Okay.
It's a 2. What?
It
Mine
wasn't totally balanced.
is in the middle of a scale. It's a 3. And
okay.
Oh my goodness. It's a 3.999.
Really?
Could have been 4.
Wow.
I want to encourage the show that was made 20 years ago. I know they
Can you hear me, show?
Hey, they got my letters. But I don't want to over encourage it. And it's great that we're breaking out of the usual creepy pattern.
Yes, that is great.
And it's great that we're even like characters I don't like we're spreading it around. We're giving people things to do, but it's a little tropey. You saw somebody in the bath.
I know.
Come on.
I know.
I mean, I guess, it's an anime made in the 90s or whatever, so it's like it's not old for them, I suppose. How many times has Lum been seen in getting into the bath? Come on, a lot of times.
Yeah, the first episode around 1/2.
Right. So this has happened.
Yeah.
But they're trying stuff. Something that I haven't done because I don't want to blow it, but I also don't want to waste it. What am I talking about?
What are you talking about?
Is basically declaring the show dead, and then it immediately turns around and it's a lot better.
Don't declare it dead.
Oh, I'm being told that we've got a lot more to come. It seems like. So I haven't done that, but I feel like I was pretty low last week. And again, the show, because I was just a little low, gave me a little more. And so I would love for it to be a 4. There's a lot of good stuff. And like I said, maybe more of the Yoma. Everything fell a little short. Mm-hmm. Here's a great example. Mm. You got, I'm thinking about it right now. You got Usagi creeping around under tables, trying to spy on Rei, dressed up as a ninja. Great stuff. I don't think they even remember that there was an Usagi hood.
No, I don't think they do
For
either.
me, this is Usagi Hood 2.
2.0.
Usagi Boogaloo.
Yes.
But that's only my headcanon.
Yeah.
The show is so detached from where it's come from, even though they do mention that, Rei and Mamoru dated like twice. I don't think they're even doing a thing here. Mm-mm. And so I'm starting to realize that I might be more invested in the show than the people making the show. Yeah. And that's a sad point to reach.
I'm not happy about it either.
And so I don't know where we're going from here. I'm not saying stop listening, listeners, but I am saying that this was on the downward trend. This was a little bump where we're going back up. And I hope that continues. And so I can't give it a 4, but I can solidly give it a 3.
All right.
It's a 3.
That sounds good. My English title is Heart Envy Distrustful Ninja.
Good one.
Yeah.
And you could totally just boom, boom, boom the characters. I can see that here. Heart, envy, distrustful. And then, of course, we know 2 characters. Ninja.
Yes.
Shinobi.
Exactly. Yes.
That's a good one. My title, I just thought that I should give a little tribute, the return of Usagi Hood, if not in name, definitely in spirit, and give a tribute to Usagi here. So we're going to say Real Ultimate Glower.
Next episode, we are talking about episode number 137, Ayakashi no Mori, Utsukushiki Yosei no Izanai in Japanese, Forest of Illusion, A Beautiful Fairy's Invitation, the English translation, and the English title, Phony Fairy.
Ayakashi?
So it's the collective name for yokai that appear above the surface of a body of water.
Yeah.
So
I thought we were going to get some Berthier back or something like that, but
I am doubtful.
Sadly, no.
Yeah. That would have been great.
Well, speaking of back, we're back.
Yes, we are.
But you don't know we went anywhere.
Right. Where'd we go?
We're in a totally new studio, and we hope that it sounds good. It should. We put everything together. And I'm standing in a pile of cables at my feet. I'm going to take a nap later and look like Serial Experiments Lane. But we have successfully transitioned and we're moving forward and doing more stuff. And a lot of that is thanks to you, the listeners, obviously, your moral support and also your financial support when it does happen. We really do appreciate it. And it funded a lot of the transition and a lot of the equipment that we needed to keep going here. So you'll be seeing and hearing more from us in our new studio on Twitch, twitch.tv/JustEnoughTrope, and of course, right here at Sailor Noob. If you want to continue to support the growth of our network, you can do that on our Patreon that we talked about before, or if you want to just put something in the tip jar for us, you can go to ko-fi.com/JustEnoughTrope. No monthly commitment. You just put a little bit in the jar and go, like what you're doing. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Exactly. And we really do want to thank all of you who do support the show. It really does mean a lot. Well, that's it for our show this week. In the name of the moon, we'll be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.